So let's get into the big topic for tonight. But before we do that, I'd like you to take a listen to some excerpts from the media chat today with Governor Nyesom Wike. Don't forget, 3 weeks ago, he had a media chat where he spoke largely about issues within his party. And one of the things that came up was that allegation that the national chairman of the PDP received 1 billion naira from a certain individual. Well, today, during today's media chat, he also made some more allegations, revealed some other things, and I'd like you to listen to this, and then we'll come back to have this discussion.
Who determines whether it's a body or government? The people appointed, are they not the reverse people? Are they not going to be paid? Are they civil servants? But you're adding more money? Or you're even employing those who don't have employment? It's not the duty of government to reduce poverty. It's not the duty of government to empower its people. If I have money, as I tell you now, this early morning we met, we are going to increase it to 100,000. It is part of what we promised our people. If the next government coming cannot go with it, it's an appointment. The government can look, I can't deal with this. Right? The government is not tied to continue with it. But for me, information is key. Remember, this 319
Liaison.
Was it the first time I appointed him? It was that last year. The 40 local government liaison, is it the first time? People just forget easily. What we have done is to listen. We don't get enough information we are supposed to get. What are the people saying at the polling unit level? What are they saying? Are they happy with our government? You go and find out so we can make adjustments before we leave.
So it was a 2-hour-long media chat, and that was part of the issues raised, the appointment of political aides. First, 50,000, and according to Governor Wike, he's even increasing them to 100,000. That's on the one hand. But tonight, I'd like to give you another side, because part of the things Governor Wike said this afternoon was in response to the chairman of the party saying that he has not debunked the allegation he made about certain 1 billion naira, which was said to have been received. But later on, the chairman of the party, Senator Yocha Ayu, denied the allegations by the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike that he collected 1 billion naira. In fact, he said that he never collected any money as an individual, saying that every money also received on behalf of the party were duly remitted to the party's treasury. He, however, notes that the governor of the party donated 100 million naira for the renovation of the PDP's Democratic Institute, and the money has not been exhausted as renovation is ongoing, as the institute will be commissioned in the weeks ahead.
On today's allegation, luckily, I had fully briefed the BOT that one of our governors made a contribution of 100 million for the revival of the People's Democratic Institute, which was housed in the porter cabin. And I explained to them that we hired an appropriate place in Asokoro, we have renovated it and we have furnished it. 2 or 3 days ago, we went there to inspect the place. I never collected 1 billion from anybody, and the 100 million that was donated by one of the governors was judiciously used for the purpose that it was given. I'm happy to state that the National Secretary of the party has since written a letter to that governor. The party, either I or the National Working Group, never took any party money to carry out the renovation. In fact, we have not even exhausted that 100 million, which was donated by one of the governors.
So that gives you a sense of the accusations, counter-accusations, the back and forth within the PDP. But maybe we should speak to some you might describe as the founding fathers of the People's Democratic Party, at least to get a sense of what the elders, if you may, are thinking, what they are doing, perhaps, to ensure that, this rift doesn't grow bigger as it is by the day. And tonight on the program, we're joined by Dr. Okwesili Ezenwodo, who is former PDP national chairman, a former governor of Enugu State, has held several positions as well in the political space. He joins us virtually on the program tonight. Dr. Wodo, it's good to have you on Politics Today.
Thank you very much, and good evening.
Good evening. Before we get into the big issue within your party, I'd like to get your response, or at least your reaction, to the discharge of Nnamdi Kanu by the appeal court yesterday. I know there's been response from the federal government, from his lawyer as well, but getting that news, how did you receive it?
Well, I can tell you that not just myself, but the leadership and people of the Southeast were quite happy with the judgments that the Court of Appeal gave on Nnamdi Kanu's case. We have been following this case since his extradition to Nigeria. The stand of the leadership of the Southeast has always been that this matter will lend itself better to a political solution than a legal solution. But federal government, in its wisdom, has continued to prosecute him. International organizations, including the United Nations, has intervened and asked the federal government to release him. We believe that if the federal government can expedite the action of the judgment delivered by the Court of Appeal, the people of the Southeast will be happy. It will reduce tension in our zone. It will also reduce insecurity in our zone. And we will therefore continue to advise the federal government if there's anything yet to be done to resolve the matter politically, rather than to continue legal action on this issue. That would be highly welcome by the leadership and people of the Southeast.
For the Minister of Police Affairs, he said that there was no such discussion about political solution during the Security Council meeting today. But when you talk about a resolution, what for you would be a resolution? Because the federal government is saying he's been discharged but not acquitted. So essentially saying maybe this is not over just yet. His lawyer is saying, well, that position is faulty. The court was quite clear. So it's been a back and forth. What for you would be a resolution to this?
Well, as I said, the leadership of the Southeast has interfaced with the president of the country, not once, at least twice or three times, including when a delegation was sent to the Southeast by the president. That delegation, if I remember rightly, was led by the Minister for Internal Affairs. And we made our stand very clear on this matter. The tension, the insecurity in the Southeast is heightened by the detention of Nnamdi Kanu. And now that the court has given a clear judgment on this matter, if it is not adhered to, it will not improve the security position in our zone. It will not increase, it will not improve the agitation in the Southeast. So we still appeal to the federal government to look at that judgment clearly and see the possibility of releasing him as soon as possible.
So whichever way it swings, just before we get back into the PDP, does the agitation for Biafra continue?
Well, the young people still want Biafra. And in support of their agitation and support for Nnamdi Kanu, they're able to shut down the whole of the Southeast every Monday. This has affected our economy adversely. And in spite of all our pleadings to the young people that they should lift that ban, they have refused to lift it in solidarity with their leader. So that's why I am saying that if the young man is released, tension in our zone will come down. And I don't see why the federal government has a different view from the judgment of the court. And we pray that they will obey the judgment of the court. The agitation for Biafra is not supported by every person in the Southeast. Many of us believe that we can be accommodated and we will have a better deal in a united Nigeria that has fairness, equity, and justice for all its citizens. Igbos can compete with any other tribe in Nigeria and survive and thrive and live well as long as there's a level playing ground. So we don't have any need to agitate for Biafra now. What we're agitating for is fair treatment in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, level playing ground.
Interestingly, it is that same fairness, justice, equity, fair treatment, which you talk about maybe in the larger Nigeria, that some governors within your party, now called the G5, it is that same fairness, equity, and justice that they say they are fighting for by calling for the chairmanship of the party to come to the South. And I mean, Governor Wike had that chat this morning, reiterating it, essentially something he has said time and again. And I don't know if, I haven't watched this last for how long it has lasted. Sitting back and seeing how it is playing within your party, I wonder what your position is. Is it fair to call for that equity, fairness, and justice by the governors? Is it right what the leadership of the party is doing? How do you see this?
Calling for justice, fairness, and equity at any time is right, by anybody for that matter. Now, what is the situation in our party right now is the call for the resignation of the party chairman as a means of balancing North and South power disposition in our party. Now, at the meeting we had today of the Board of Trustees, I happen to have been a member of the 7-man panel that went around the country to visit the 5 governors who are with Wike on this matter, and also to visit other party leaders, including Professor Jerry Kanu, who is a founding member of our party and one-time secretary to the Board of Trustees. And we also visited the presidential candidates of our party, and we visited the vice presidential candidate of the party and the chairman of the party. We visited the chairman of the Governors Forum of our party. We had a cross-board interaction with those that we felt were involved in the matter or those who could prefer solutions to the matter. We submitted our report today to the Board of Trustees. And the board, in its wisdom, felt that to ask the chairman to resign at this time is like shooting your general at the point of going to war. The chairman of the party is the person who leads the party to campaign in the election. And therefore, it's inauspicious to ask him to step down at this time. And a person coming in at this time is not, it will take time to understand the build-up we have had in the past 5 months, since after the primary. We have been working round the clock to get the presidential campaign to take off. And we have done that. So a lot has happened. And what is going to happen between now and the election day, we have worked that to the minutest detail. The date we are going to have rallies in all the states of Nigeria. On Monday, we'll be having a rally in Kanu. Now, we have also worked very hard on how to execute the election and the post-election activity. So a new chairman coming now, we have a lot to suffocate him with before he gets on the same page with all of us. So the board, in its wisdom, said, I should resign as soon as we win the election. And they are saying this also based on the tradition of 1998. one of the first battles we fought was the zoning of the presidential candidate. And in the wisdom of the party, after we made a case of the South, support the government of the Tafawa Balewa, and then ending up as the president of the country. We came to the Second Republic, and we were again in the South. We supported Sekou Shagari. And in the Third Republic, a Southerner was perceived to have won the election, and that election was annulled. So with all that, the South stood out stoutly that they wanted this time to be the chairman, the presidential candidate. And we won, and that's how Obasanjo became our candidate. Now, when we do that, the next thing to zone is...
Okay, it looks like we're having challenges with the connection,
because now
Dr.
we know
Nwode.
which zone.
Pardon me. So we're having difficulty with that connection with you. But if I get you correctly, you're saying that, yes, you agree with the call for equity, fairness, and justice by the group of 5 governors. Am I right?
Yes.
But you think the timing is what is wrong?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to explain, that we have a tradition in the party that our presidential candidate, our president and our chairman cannot come from the same zone of the country. So once we zone the president, like we zoned in 1998 to southern Nigeria, Solomon La from the north became the chairman, and I became the secretary from the south. So we put the presidential candidate and the secretary, and we put the chairman of the party on the other side. So, and we have kept this tradition. So the 8 years that President Obasanjo was in office, all our chairmen came from the north. From Ba, we went on to the second president, the chairman was Kamade. From Kamade, we went on to Audugwe. From Audugwe, we went on to Colonel Ali, all from the north. So that is our tradition. Now, when Yar'Adua came on board, the chairmanship came to the south, and that's how Secondus became chairman. Now, after Secondus, after the chairman came from the south, we now had the doctrine of necessity that brought about the presidency of Jonathan. And at that time, Obulafo was from the south as President Jonathan.
Right.
So as soon as we finished the presidential election, we now had to choose a chairman from the north. And that's how Adamu and others came. So that has been the tradition. What we're saying now is that it is difficult for us to change an executive we have just elected in the middle of the campaign. Let us wait and win the presidency.
Right.
To win the presidency, you must go.
We're due for a break. Pardon me, Dr. Nwode, we're due for a break in just less than a minute. But quickly, I just want to ask you, so if you agree that what they're calling for is right, but the timing maybe not right, because you don't want to shoot your best soldier in a time of war, the question then is there a wrong time to do the right thing?
Is there a wrong time to do the right thing?
Yeah.
Of course. In politics, that's a great, big mistake. A great, big mistake. Political expediency is tied up with timing. You have to time whatever you want to do in politics to resonate with the result that you want.
All right.
So we believe that once we have a president in place, there is no way the chairman can remain in that zone. Automatically, it's going to the south.
Now, you have clamored for not just a southern presidency come 2023, but a president from the southeast. time and again, and you have been at the forefront of this. But it looked like within your party, clearly, that is not happening. Yes, the chairmanship was zoned to the north, but politically speaking, I mean, the presidential candidate got the upper hand, and now that he's in the running for the election. But my point is this. So if the G5 governors are clamoring for equity, fairness, and justice within the party, they do not see it. You support that clamor, but you think the timing is wrong. So how then can your party ensure equity in this current system? How can they assure that they're being equitable, they're being fair, or do I say it is being fair and equitable to these governors?
But I don't think that if we don't immediately pick a Southern chairman now, that means that the party is not prepared for equity and fairness in government. No, that's not true. Even as we speak now, in the Labour Party, the presidential candidate and the chairman of the party are from the South. If you go to the other party, the presidential candidate is a Muslim, the vice presidential candidate is a Muslim, chairman of party is a Muslim. Come to the present government, the president is a Muslim, the chief justice of Nigeria, the president of the Senate, the speaker, all Muslims. So that we don't change our chairman now. I don't think that's enough reason to say that PDP will not be fair to all parts of the country. We ruled Nigeria for 16 years. Nobody ever talked about marginalization of any part of the country. There was no IPOP, there was no demand for Oduduwa state and all of that. The highest we came to was IPOB that was creeping in before we left office. So I think it is it's an unfair critique to say that the PDP will not be fair to all parts of the country who win the election.
Well, from your party's convention constitution, I mean, you've had ways of distributing these positions, as you said, to ensure some sort of representation. But on a final note, Governor Wike has been quite particular about the fact that there's not been any major, development. There's not been any improvement, really, in some of the clamors. And from time and again, we keep hearing that there's been a delegation, Governor James Ibori, party elders, South governors, these and that, who have been delegated to speak with him. As we speak, is there any delegation that has, or that is in the works, to speak with Governor Wike yet again and other G5 governors?
Speaking to Wike and the other governors is a continuous engagement in the party, because we feel that everybody is important for us to win the election, and we can't sacrifice anybody and say nobody is important. So there's continuous dialogue. I know that even 2 days ago, our presidential candidate had a meeting with the governor of Benue State, and this is going on all the time. Good delegations and one-to-one conversations between the presidential candidate, chairman of the party, and all these governors. The last major engagement was that of the Board of Trustees that actually went to the states to see all of these governors and also the leadership of the party at the national level before the report we need today to the Board of Trustees.
Right.
So we can never give up on this engagement to look for peace.
Well, the coming days will be very intriguing, definitely, but I would like to thank you so much for your time. Dr. Okwesileze Nwodo, former national chairman of the PDP, former governor of Enugu State. You're also the national secretary of your party at some point. Am I right?
You're right.
Thank you so much for your time on the program this evening.
The first national secretary.
Interesting.